Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, plays the Binding of AFTERBIRTH Plus. There's a run in progress here. It's only been going for 45 seconds. Let me tell you what the... Yikes. What the situation was. I've been fighting tooth and nail against this Windows update that has been an issue. Problematic would be a good way to describe it for a lot of streamers in particular. Kind of, you know, destroying audio setups. Nothing, I mean, I was gonna say nothing too critical, but honestly, like, Malf, in order to fix his problems with it, had to do a clean install of his operating system, like, twice. Now, he probably didn't have to do it twice. You know, it doesn't seem to me like there's any reason why the second time should fix it if the first time didn't, but we've all been in that situation before. We're like, you know, I've tried everything conceivable, let's try something drastic I've already done, and it works, and you're not worried about whether or not you took the most efficient way to get there, you're just, you know, happy it's working. So I started to record, and I thought the Windows update was forced on me. I had disabled the service. I did everything short of going into the registry over the course of, like, the past 2 weeks to make sure, I'll take it, if possible, it wouldn't get pushed to me. Eventually they got me. They said you can't disable the service anymore. You obviously can't just delay. We're gonna send you. So I thought, alright, let's get out in front of it. Thought I had everything sorted out, started recording. A bug, and I've been in this business for like a long time. Plus, I respect troubleshooting. I understand that troubleshooting is just a puzzle solving game where you isolate one variable at a time, test it, and then try again. A bug I have never in my whole life popped up where sound effects from games were not being recorded, but music and my voice were. And I looked and I looked to try to figure out where the heck the issue could be. Could not find it, and had to roll back. So that, you know, my bad for starting in media res here, but I think you kind of got a pretty sensible idea of how the run looks here so far. We have very, very limited resources from an HP perspective. But we got a good amount of optics, I'd say, is one way you could consider this one. We've got the ability to fly. We've got good DPS. I don't want to be a hypocrite, okay? This is a little scary. I don't want to be a hypocrite. If we're gonna say we got bad DPS when we've got good damage, bad rate of fire, I gotta say we got good DPS when we've got bad damage, good rate of fire. Wait a minute, did I say this? I think I might have said it backwards. You get the general idea of what I was going for there, presumably. So I think our DPS is good. Just in general, given the choice, I don't want to talk about the extremes, you know, the soy milks of the world, but I would almost always rather have above average rate of fire, below average damage. Perhaps that's just me. However, you know, we don't need to sweat the small stuff so far. And there is an exception. If we had, like, really, really high damage, like if we had, like, 100 damage with Ipecac or something like that, we would be okay having a small or a lower rate of fire. But anyway. I was talking with Malf about this Windows update. You know, I understand the purpose of a Windows update, believe you me. And they've actually, like, acknowledged that this Windows update has caused a lot of problems, and they're gonna fix it in, like, the next update. But man, oh man, is it frustrating. It's the closest I've ever come to, like, writing an angry tweet that's like, I'm just gonna switch to Linux. I can't afford to do this, unfortunately, but let's cross this bridge when we come to it here. Maybe, just maybe, this'll work. Okay, if not there, probably here. Alright, then never mind. Clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But I was like, man, if it wouldn't be so bad if the update was a little broken. You know, it happens. Everybody makes mistakes, even large teams. And you know, it's a mission critical product. It's not fair to be like, you know, hey, don't make a mistake next time. But, like, you lose a little bit... Ooh, that's interesting. Of the... I don't even want to call it the high ground, but you lose a little bit of the forgiveness factor when the update is literally forced upon you. Like, you know, Windows Update has, like... Thank you. Thank you. It has, like, the ability... Still thank you. To delay, but after you delay, like, enough times, it stops giving you the option to delay. And if you want to stop it... I think we do want to take these, just to make sure we're alive if this is Krampus. Ooh, a little spicy. I think I'm going to say no, to be honest, but I will go to our curse room, so maybe I can't be trusted. I'm a little bit of a hypocrite on this subject, I guess. But, you know, then you've got to go into the services panel and start manually disabling the Windows Update related services every single time you want to stop the update. And then eventually they're like, no, these have been turned off too much. You can't turn them off anymore. You got to do the update. You know, it's like forcing someone to take tainted medicine. It's like you already know that, you know, the FDA issued like not a recall, but at least like, hey, we know there's heavy metals in the insulin. We'll fix it, don't worry. And you're like, yeah, well, I haven't gotten that new shipment yet. They're like, oh, well, you gotta get the new shipment. Like, come on, we put it out like 2.5 months ago. Anyway, I know we'll probably have some small lingering issues with it. It's just frustrating. This is the closest that this job comes to, like, you know, there being construction on a major road, like, on a day where you're kind of late for work. It's basically... It's the way I would equate it right now. Unfortunately, we still definitely need this, but that's okay. You know, you talk to the boss and you're like, hey, man, there's nothing I could do. Canby Street had crazy construction today. And there was, of course, you know, on Burrard, there was the protest at the Hyatt that, you know, one job should be enough to be able to live on, and they spilled out onto the street. It kept me from getting to work. Hopefully your boss is understanding. My boss is understanding. I've said it before, you know, if anything, the Twitch audience is like a little bit too understanding. You know, I stubbed my toe, gonna take tonight's stream off. And they go, no problem, King. See you on Monday. Don't want to be that kind of guy. Don't want to have that amount of coddledness enabled in my ecosystem. But again, I got my own personal problem with that. We don't need to go there again. However, I've already paid my penance. And the penance that I paid was I asked for technical support advice on Twitter, and every time I do it, I'm like, why do I do this to myself? I know... I'm excited. I know what I'm gonna get, you know? When you ask for tech advice on Twitter, just say it with me, what's the #1 reply you get? Delete System 32. The picture, we're in like the Family Feud audience right now. Throw your PC in the dishwasher. Have you tried turning it on and off again? Which is actually good advice, but I take it as patronizing, because obviously, yes, I've tried that. That's my first course of action in every situation. After making some changes that require it, at least. But I thought to myself, well, I could get angry and I could post, why would you post something like this? And I was like, just let them have their fun. All right, now, keep your secrets. That's a lesson I learned a long time ago, but not everybody's at the same point, you know. Some of the people replying are very young, but, you know, sometimes you'll see somebody you like, and they'll be like, hey, my PC's having problems. Do you have any recommendations? And, you know, you got a certain temptation, because you're the funniest person out of your 3 closest friends, to go, hey, I bet they've never thought about, tossing their PC out the window. This is it's like the classic, you know your audience sort of thing. You know, if I'm going through some technical related issues, you know, it's not like I'm trying to play Destiny 2 before the raid pops or something like that. Is that something that happens in Destiny 2? I'm hoping that's the case, please. You know, I'm trying to get my freaking job done. People are like, well, have you tried, shooting your computer with a gun? No, you know what? I haven't tried that. Have you considered talking to Netflix and getting a comedy special? Because honestly, they could use you. It seems like you're a preternatural talent in the stand-up comedy ecosystem. I was thinking maybe you could do a special. It could air right after Jim Gaffigan. It could be like, why doesn't my computer do what I want it to do? Spell check? You know what would really help me is if my computer had a smell check. Hi-oh! And it could be like bright red text on the cover screen, and it's just like, you know, Twitter user 71, bright red text. I don't get it. I've been brainstorming, you know, what are like the worst names possible for a comedy special? I don't get it is up there, but I think number one is definitely, I'm just saying. That's the one that if I mean, stand-up comedy specials, they're hard to name, right? You're always naming it after like a joke that comes midway through. And then when you hear the joke, you're like, now I get it. Spicy honey. But the worst are when it's like, you know, I mean, come on. This summer, Ryan Letourneau's saying the things that they won't let you say anymore. I mean, come on. And then the audience goes, oh, here he goes. I don't want to go off on a rant here. Does anybody else miss when vending machines weren't touchscreens? I mean, come on. Oh, he's doing it again. Coca-Cola Freestyle. How about Coca-Cola Be Fast? I'm trying to get my soda here. I don't know what I'm talking about, but thank you for listening. Really, this is a video where the commentary just exists so that, you know, in 20 minutes I can listen to the video preview and go like, hey, did it actually record? I'll tell you, it feels like it's recording just fine, but I don't know. Maybe it's using my webcam microphone, and this will end up being like one of the most cursed videos in YouTube history. Shouldn't be, because I've run enough. I've run the diagnostics, sir. Now, I'm just saying. There's other ones. I mean, you can't really choose what stand-up comedy to watch just based on the name of the special, but you can choose what stand-up comedy not to watch, I'll tell you that much. Anything called like, uh-oh, I'm like, I don't think your jokes are gonna be that good. I could be wrong, okay? I could be wrong. I never have been about this particular subject, but I'm open to the idea that at some point in the future it actually could happen. Skeptical, but open. Much like James Randi's Magic Store on a weekday. Uh-oh, here he goes again. He's got jokes so spicy, his kids won't even talk to him anymore. My kid's so freaking stupid. Where am I? I'm basically, this is the definition of punching up. You're not supposed to punch down. Yikes. Punching down is when, you know, you're in a position of power and you make fun of somebody who's, you know, their situation as compared to yours is deleterious. Punching up is me, with no talent, making fun of people slightly more talented than me, but less talented than my favorite stand-up comedians. This is the definition of the way that comedy should speak truth to power like that. That's my honest opinion. Anyway, today's a Sunday. It's Sunday pre-Deadly Premonition, a very blessed time of the day. I like Deadly Premonition too. It's blessed not because I'm spared from Deadly Premonition for the time being, but because I know that that's what's coming later on this afternoon, and I'm excited for it. Don't get it confused. Yesterday was my day off. We had a productive day off. Did some necessary shopping. We saw a little known film called Astra, science fiction film starring Bradley Pitt, Donald Sutherland, Thomas Lee Jones, and Liv Tyler with no speaking roles and no comment from me on that subject. I thought it was pretty good, but not great. The way I would describe, I mean, it's, if you want to get erudite, yeah, it's a Heart of Darkness retelling in outer space. if you want to be a little bit more, you know, accessible, I kind of see it as like a worse version of Interstellar. And I know people have their problems with Interstellar, particularly the way that, like, you know, it gets to the point that it makes at the end. Let me just say, I recognize that you may have those problems. I think if you have those problems with Interstellar, there's a pretty decent chance you'll have that problem with Ad Astra as well. But, like, it's kind of like two movies. Like, the first half of the movie, I was like, this is really actually compelling. Good, like, near future, near-ish anyway, future sci-fi, and the great use of a card there from yours truly. And then, again, hold on. Actually, we could use the strength card for now, so strength and world is fine. But then, like, it's not like it jumps the shark, but it has a couple of different twists and turns that happen throughout the movie. By the end of it, I was like, I completely get what you're going for, but I don't think you got there in the way that you earned it, if that makes sense. But would I recommend it? I would recommend it. Would I recommend seeing it in theaters? I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. I say yes, but for the most bizarre reason. I think this is one of those movies where if you end up watching it at home, you might find yourself being like, oh, it's a little slow in this part. I'm going to pull out the cellular telephone. And then before you know it, 45 minutes has passed. You don't really know what's happening. Which is, you know, let me put it this way. I've seen a lot of people be like, it's slow and kind of boring. And I'm like, I disagree. I was engaged through the whole thing. But it's definitely not a movie where I'm like, I don't understand how you could make that complaint. While watching it, I was like, oh, I get it. Trust me. I disagree, but I understand. Anyway, I thought it was pretty good. Not necessarily must-see movies, but hey, you know, you gotta take some time. See movies in September, you know? The Real Gas is out in October. Gotta see Parasite, gotta see The Lighthouse. Maybe gotta see Joker, I don't know. Joker's a weird one for me, because it premiered at a film festival like 6 weeks ago. Everybody's got an opinion on the movie, and it hasn't even come out yet. So I was like, you know, I saw the trailers. I was like, wow, this looks really good. One of the greatest living actors in a DC sort of superhero movie. I don't care if it's part of the DCEU, okay? I'm just saying it is a DC movie. And I was like, it's a bit of a bizarre choice for this actor. The trailers came out, and we're like, it's good. And then the reviews came out, and they were like, it's pretty good. But now, it's like the movie's about to come out, and people are already like, I don't know. You haven't seen it yet, though. Trust me, by the way, I get it, you know? One of my favorite genres of video on the internet is guys doing demo reels, but pretending to be Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. You want to know how I got these scars? Now I'm like, wait a minute, that was pretty good. Do you want to know how I got these scars? Better, closer, warmer. But still, I'm like, dude, just because, I don't know, you can't write off the movie just as a result of a certain subset of the audience. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. I shouldn't maybe be coming to its own defense, but I'm just saying. You know. Fight Club, it has a perception problem for like a decade. Same with American Psycho and The Wolf of Wall Street. There's a few movies out there where people just get the wrong idea about them. You know, people are like, I knew I wanted to be rich after I saw The Wolf of Wall Street, and I'm like, you know, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. You're supposed to leave that movie being like, man, this guy's a real piece of garbage. This is just a terrible performance from me here. I'll take it. Just to survive leaving this room. You're not supposed to watch The Wolf of Wall Street and be like, there's a man who lived life on his own terms. I think that's my perception of it, at least. I think you're supposed to be leaving that movie. Not necessarily, I mean, you know, sure, people want to be wealthy, but you're not supposed to be leaving the movie being like, I'm going to model my whole life after this guy. And it's the same thing that Fight Club's got, you know, going on, where people would watch it, miss out on the satirical aspects of it, and be like, I want to be Tyler Durden. You're like, you didn't watch the movie. You already are Tyler Durden. Didn't you? Weren't you paying attention? Anyway. Still, 2 very good movies. And I'll go to bat, you know. I do like The Wolf of Wall Street. And I do like Fight Club. Not 2 of my favorite movies ever made, but still 2 very good movies in my opinion. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater just because there's some, you know, bad actors that also enjoy the movie as well. But then again, maybe when the movie, maybe when Joker comes out and I watch it, I'll be like, yeah, you know what? They were right. I just refuse to join in on the discourse until I've heard it. Won't somebody think of the feelings of this incredibly big corporation? I'm just saying, if you were Warner Brothers, you would want people to show you some innocence until proven guilty. This is a very strange but also good run. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. I think October is going to be a good month for films. Not movies, films. Because when you say movies, it makes you sound like a fool. When you say films, you're a critic all of a sudden. When did I get homing bombs? Why are some of my bombs homing and some of them are not? You know? It's a bizarre situation for me right here. I don't fully understand, but I will defend to the death my right to say it. I don't even want to, it's against my New Year's resolution to be more positive, but I would be remiss if we didn't point out that, you know, I always see people online talk about, like, I haven't been to the movie since 1976, because one time I was at a movie and somebody talked, and that's unacceptable. And I'm always like, it seems like you're overstating, thank you, the problem. I go to movies, you know, we probably see a movie like twice a month at this point, and I like it, and literally less than 10% have even the slightest hint of like a bad experience. And you gotta be an adult about it sometimes. If like somebody pulls out their phone to check their messages an hour into the movie, you have to be like, you know what, that's one person out of an audience of like 200 people. Yeah, I wouldn't do it, but and I think it is rude, but at the same time, like, you know, it happens. You gotta be an adult about that. But we were seated yesterday next to like 2 pretty young, they were like teenage boys, and they just could not shut up through the whole movie. And it was like, the whole time, I was just thinking to myself, like, this is the internet age. Like, did you not read the reviews on Ad Astra that were like, it's a slow, quiet, introspective, contemplative work of science fiction? Like, why go see a movie like that? Why pay your dad's hard-earned money, or your mom's for that matter, if you can't sit still for an hour and a half, you know? And then it's the worst part of all. And I'll admit, by the way, when I was like 16, I didn't talk through movies, but I was a victim of the same kind of delusion that these boys were, which is that my opinion is very important and needs to be said at all possible times. And that's why I became a YouTuber, so that I could do nothing but talk all day. However, after the movie ended, first thing he said, screen goes to black, kid goes, trash. And I was like, you know what? Who can get me Brad Pitt's agent? You know? He's got 30 years in Hollywood. He's got a track record of, you know, up and down films, without a doubt. But I've got a scathing review from Joey, the 16-year-old kid sitting in row I, seat 31. He thinks his nuanced approach to the movie, having just seen it, is to shout trash once it's over with. And I was like, oh no, this kid doesn't realize that this isn't the internet. He thinks the internet is real life, and that's very scary. Anyway, I don't want to focus too much on the negative, because, you know, I mean, he is a child, as much as he wants to pretend that he's an adult. He's got a few more years before, in all likelihood, someone would ever say to him, like, hey, knock it off, idiot. Kate was actually sitting closest to them, and she was like, at some point, like, he was rustling around, and he kicked the guy's chair that was in front of him, and the guy turned around, and then told him to stop it, and then the kid went to his friend and was like, I didn't kick your chair, dude. That's... Don't tell me that guy's favorite movie is Joker. I'm gonna have to go back on everything I said earlier. I apologize. I apologize, director Todd Phillips. But I had always thought... I don't know, I think I'm like 50-50, you know? Do I think people behave badly at the movies? I don't know, man. I think, like... I think it's just, you know, different norms you were brought up with. And I don't even mean, like, culturally. I mean more like, you know... Like, in my family, it was like... If you talked in the movies, it was like a capital offense. You were, like, polite to the point of being comical. You know, like, oh, even though my bladder's gonna explode, I don't want to get up and go to the bathroom during the movie, even though this is, like, a part where seemingly nothing is happening, because for 4 seconds, I'm gonna be blocking the view of the person beside me. Now, that, obviously, that's just ill. That's irrational. But, you know, the idea of, like, having other people be... you know, judgmental towards you in public because you're acting like an idiot is also like it's like unconscionable to me. So I find, like, you know the show Impractical Jokers? I find it funny sometimes, but also deeply uncomfortable. Because I'm like, the idea of being forced to be impolite in public is like the worst possible phobia you could have for me right now. I'm not saying I've never been impolite in public, but endeavor not to be. But, you know, I think, you know, because it's not just kids. You see adults do things like now that there's assigned seating at the movie theater. Like, now and then we'll go to sit in our seats, and there'll be people sitting there. And then, you know, they're like, oh, sorry, is this, you know, not row Z99? And I'm like, nah, this is like... This is row J10. It's the exact center of the theater because we purchased our tickets 3 months ago. Z99 is seated inside of the handicap stall of the men's bathroom, as I'm sure you know when you saw the seating map. I suppose we were just under the impression that maybe the people who purchased some of the best tickets in the house weren't actually that excited to go see the movie, and, you know, maybe they wouldn't show up for whatever reason, and then we would be the ones that stand to gain from that. You know, I see adults do it all the time. It's okay. It's just different strokes for different folks. Goathead, Sister Maggie, I wish I hadn't done it. If you'll excuse me, I have to go to my Twitch chat room and be like, hey guys, sorry, I'm gonna eat lunch after this. I'll probably be like 5 minutes late. No, Justin, you don't get to talk on my stream. I'm sorry. I will be like 5 to 10 late. Sorry. I'm just gonna tell them it's Win 10 issues, but mouth smile. Stay frosty. Little do they know, it's not Windows 10 issues. Well, it kind of is. The Windows 10 issues did push things a little bit, you know, further ahead today because you spent an hour or two dealing with those. Excuse me, sir. Any chance you might just opt to take damage instead of spending your whole life in your invincibility frames? Please, sir? Thank you. We are only one item away from becoming Gupster. I feel like this is the kind of run where, right now, oh, Perthro's real good. Right now, everything is fine. All it takes, excuse me, sir. I don't know why I would take that, except that Perthro is probably better used on the chest. But one crappy boss, or on the chest, one crappy room, could lead this to be a little bit more disastrous. But I do think we have the wafer, so I'm not sweating it too hard. That's my thoughts on the subject. And mostly, you know I care about the streak, okay? Because and maybe I shouldn't, but we could have easily just started a new run and been like, sorry, Windows 10 issues. Might have even been a better viewing experience, and I said to myself, no. I have an allegiance to myself and to that arbitrary number. That's how you never say NL doesn't care. I don't care! Coming this fall on Netflix. Oh, does it offend you, yeah? Have you considered that I'm very wealthy? Excuse me. Go. Safe. I have to admit, I'm a little embarrassed. I once a year, I make a desperate attempt for a viral tweet. Like most people on Twitter, I think when I see viral tweets, sometimes I'm like, I can do better than that. And then I try, and I fail, and I go, I don't understand. Sometimes I see tweets that are like, remember to drink water today, you dumb idiot. And it gets like 100,000 retweets. And I'm like, man, trust me, I understand the joke. There's not much to get. I just don't understand how it hit critical mass. But my joke, with Hannibal Buress staring at his hands while the final music from Hereditary plays with the caption, me when I beat through the fire and the flames on expert. How does that not go viral? I don't understand. By the way, many people always assume I was born boomer. I was a zoomer when zoomers didn't exist, you know? Everybody that's ever been alive at one point was the youngest person on the planet. Freaky, huh? Weird thing to think about. But I have beaten through the fire and the flames on expert. I played like, I don't know. Hold on. I should have blown you up first. This is a pretty terrible get. Still pretty bad. I think we can afford to take this because we can fly. On the low side, I would say I probably played 1,000 to 2,000 hours of rhythm games in college, you know? And that's not, I'm not going pro, but, you know, people are like, you never beat Tom Sawyer on expert. No, I mean, I only beat Tom Sawyer on expert on every instrument except for vocals. But also, I gold started on drums one time. I remember it was a landmark day. I'm very familiar with the you know? Don't act like I haven't been there. I lived my life. I built a summer home there. Got 1 point lower on my GPA as a result of those games existing. And now that I'm, oh, he's 30, he's ancient. People try to erase the accomplishments of my youth. Nuh-uh. Play me 1v1. We might have to go a little lighter for a bit. Maybe we can play a little bit of Flirting with Disaster first. Then before we get into the really tough stuff. I know what you're like. I'm trying to fall asleep right now. You know what? Sleep is for when the video's over. It's not for the weak. Sleep is for the strong, dude. I'll tell you, I used to have that attitude, you know, to some extent. People are like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Usually, in my limited experience, are there people who choose to sleep a little so that they can be more productive? Yes. But probably, I should say, because I've never met them. However, in real life, most of the people who are, I'm like, I only get 6 hours of sleep a night. I'm like, why? You know, you got like important deals you're closing? They're like, nah, I just got sucked into a video game for too long, and then I didn't have time to do my homework and get 7 hours of sleep. You know? That's a time management issue. That doesn't make you strong. It makes you a very bad planner. And then you have the audacity to put on your LinkedIn page that you have good time management skills? I don't think so. I don't think so, mister. You know what? Give me a per throw on that and then ignore it forever. Oh, got him? Don't got him. Got him. How did I let myself get hit by that? So even if we lose this life, which is plausible, to be honest, especially now, help. We should be able to beat Isaac with 1 HP, or Blue Baby with 1 HP. That room is kind of an outlier, like Malcolm Gladwell. I mean, like, he wrote the book Outliers, but also he himself is an outlier, because, I mean, he's such a successful author. Statistically, it's on, you know, unusual, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that room was just kind of bad/dangerous for us. The one time I wanted a bomb to stick. That's not true. I want a bomb to stick just about every time. Got him? Don't really got him on that one, but that's okay. You pop this. Stay frosty. Excuse me, sir. Your orbitals deflected me. It's the greatest defense known to Isaac Kind, and I've never considered it before in my entire life. You madman. You genius. We've done it. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. I'm so great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.